Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FATIHAH Binti Muhammad ANUAR. My metric number is 299367. We are from Group A. Today, we will be presenting our group project on change management, and our focus is on Nestle Malaysia Berhad, a leading name in the food and beverage industry. Nestle has been operating in Malaysia for more than 100 years, and it's well known for brands such as Milo, Maggi, Nescafe, and KitKat. As we all know, this COVID-19 pandemic brought significant disruptions to almost every industry, especially the F&B sector. Many companies struggle with rising costs, labor shortages, and rapidly changing consumer preference. Nestle, however, demonstrated strong resilience. Instead of remaining stagnant, the company took proactive steps to adapt to the new environment. It quickly embraced digital transformation, introduced hybrid work models, and shifted its focus towards sustainability, health, and nutrition, responding to the growing demand for healthier and more eco-friendly products. The company also invested heavily in e-commerce and data analytics to better understand customer behavior and improve service delivery. This allows Nestle to remain competitive, relevant, and agile in a fast-changing business world. In this presentation, we will take a closer look at how Nestle managed change during the post-pandemic period, the challenge it faced, the solution it implemented, and the lessons we can learn from their approach. I will pass to the next presenter.
My name is Shiong and my matrix number is 299625. I'm going to present for part 2.1, identify and describe key change using the 7S model for Nestle Malaysia. Now, let's take a look at how Nestle Malaysia responded to the challenge brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Using the 7S model framework, I will focus on three elements: strategy, systems, and staff. First, starting with strategy. Before the pandemic, Nestle primarily focused on selling its well-known product through physical, in-store channels. However, post-COVID, the company had to adapt quickly. People began caring more about their health, and online shopping grew rapidly. Nestle responded by shifting their focus to promoting healthier product lines and strengthening their digital and e-commerce presence. This was a clear strategy move to meet the evolving needs of their customers. Next, we have system. Nestle operational systems also has to change. Previously, they rely on more traditional supply chains and production methods. After COVID disrupt global supply chains, Nestle embraced digital tools, automations, and data analytics. These upgrades help them to become more efficient, flexible, and better at making informed decisions. Finally, let's talk about staff. The way employees work and learn changed significantly. Before the pandemic, most training and work took place face-to-face. But after COVID, Nestle introduced flexible working hours, online learning platforms, and even mental health support. These changes were driven by the growing need for flexibility and stronger digital skills among employees.
Good morning, everyone. My name is KAVIARASI. My metric number 299325. Now we want to discuss about 2.2. Let's start with the external pressures. First, consumer behavior began to shift. More people prefer food that is not only healthy and quick but also environmentally friendly. This change meant Nestle had to rethink product development and packaging. Secondly, new health and safety regulations were introduced by the government. This affected how products were made and how workers stay safe, especially during the pandemic. Third, the increasing dependence on technology pushed Nestle to upgrade both its manufacturing system and digital infrastructure. Finally, the pandemic changed how people work. Employees started expecting more flexible working hours, the option to work from home, and better support for mental health. If these needs are met, it could result in lower motivation and even loss of skilled workers. Next, we are moving into internal pressures. Internally, next, the existing system and supply chains were outdated and couldn't keep up with the challenges brought by the pandemic. This created an urgent to need to modernize and become more flexible. At the leadership level, there was a realization that to survive and grow, the company had to make a faster decisions and promote innovation and initiative. This led to changes in leadership approach and company culture. Lastly, after acquiring Roseman, Nestle faced pressure from stakeholders to deliver on promises, especially those related to the public health and environmental sustainability. So internal goals had to align more closely with external expectation. Now, we want to look at 2.3, which is classification and objective of the changes. In this section, we will explore the type of changes that took place at the Nestle. These changes can be grouped into three categories: developmental, transitional, and transformational, each serving a unique purpose in driving the company forward. First is developmental change. Developmental change aims to improve what already exists. At Nestle, this involves upgrading staff training program using digital learning tools and improving how information was shared internally. The goal was to build a workforce that is both digitally capable and adaptable, which help maintain the company's stability. Next is transitional change. Transitional change happens when a company moves from the one established way of working to a new one. Nestle did this by replacing older systems with digital ones, changing how the supply chain operates, growing its presence in e-commerce, and improving customer support through mobile apps. The goal was to remain resilient and competitive in the shifting marketplace. Last but not least, transformational change. Transformational change is the most significant kind. It reshaped the identity, purpose, and culture of the company. For Nestle, it meant fully committing to the health, sustainability, and innovation. All departments had to align with this long-term strategy to prepare for global challenges and take on the greater role in corporate responsibility after the pandemic.
Hi, my name is HAZIQAH Binti HAMDANI. And my metric number is 299469. Today I will present about the process of change at Nestle during the post-pandemic period. Firstly, during the COVID-19 pandemic, business all over the world struggle mainly because the food and beverage sector depend on transportation, workers, and swift changes in what people buy. Nestle, as the biggest food and beverage firm globally, need to continue its daily activities as it responds to rapid changes in business conditions. Firstly is post-pandemic change implementation at Nestle. Strategic leadership and structural realignment. To maneuver its way during the pandemic, Nestle had to restructure both in terms of leadership and organization. One big change came in 2024 with the appointment of Laurent Frels as CEO of Nestle. One of his first major decisions was to trim down the executive board from 40 members down to just 11. The idea behind this smaller group was to improve agility and responsiveness in decision making. In addition to this, Frank said about reorganizing the geographical management of Nestle. For instance, North America and Latin America were combined as one market. Greater China was amalgamated with Asia, Oceania, and Africa. The idea behind these measures was to encourage cross-regional cooperation, remove impediments and inefficiency in the way strategy were executed. They want an organization that was fast enough to keep pace with market trends and sufficiently thinking across divisions. Next is workplace transformation and hybrid work models. The pandemic changed the workplace as we knew it. Nestle accepted the flexible working was said to be the norm and designed office that embrace hybrid capabilities. System workstations, digital tools, and virtual meeting platform were some of the provisions made for employees to stay in touch and ensure productivity. Nestle Workplace Transformation was an extensive intervention to introduce more open and collaborative space with high-tech conference rooms and policy for work from home situation. This not only correspond with global employee expectation but also improve employee satisfaction and productivity. Next is digital transformation and talent development. Nestle speed up the digital transformation through investing in e-learning, automation, and advanced analytics. Internally, the firm also implement digital learning platform whereby employees could develop specific skills in data analysis, e-commerce, and digital marketing. On the other hand, the transition of the company toward digitalization was also unfolding in its customer-facing operation. Greater investment were made in e-commerce platform while AI was being adopted for demand forecasting and big data for analyzing changing consumer preference. Uh, this very approach enhanced employee engagement by more than 20% and enabled Nestle to keep pace with market changes. And lastly is enhancing supply chain resilience. It made massive disruption to the global supply chain in the pandemic due to labor shortage, port delays, and geopolitical matters. Nestle was acting in advance by locally sourcing more, backing up its supplier, and investing in logistic technology. For example, Nestle made use of real-time tracking of supply chain so that managers could in turn respond very much faster to disruptions that occur. In addition, Nestle adjusts its storage policy, holding buffer stocks of critical items and employing scenario planning tools for probable supply chain bottlenecks. This brought add flexibility to the supply chain and ensured the smooth availability of product during the post-pandemic recovery period. Next, we move to challenges faced and solution implemented at Nestle. First is disrupted supply chains. Because of worldwide lockdowns and border closure, the movement of raw materials and complete items was stopped. Nestle faced challenges with inconsistent deliveries, growing freight fees, and not having enough warehousing. So the company started working with local partners in its supply chain and apply advanced analytics to anticipate future demand better. The company also helps suppliers meet quality standards and offer training and help for small farmers to keep their farms running in spite of the problems. Next is changing consumer behavior. Shopping habits change a lot because of the pandemic. People choose more nutritious options, products that improve the immune system, and make more online purchase. In response, Nestle introduced new products that fight disease and strengthen health, including plant-based beverage and fortified foods. To grow online, Jumia began working with Amazon and different local delivery companies. Also, the company boosts spending on digital ads and checks social media analytics to focus on younger customers. This program allows Nestle to catch up with what people want and resume its position in the market. Then, financial pressure and cost management. Personal protective equipment or PPE, workplace cleaning, and higher transportation costs all decrease the industry profit. Nestle cut unnecessary spending, put a stronger focus on products with the biggest profit margin, and save money by putting off essential capital investment that were not immediate needs. At the same moment, Nestle continued to develop new ideas and cleaner solutions for long-term advantage. For example, they decide to continue on improving their packaging to protect the environment even when it was expensive for the business. And lastly is internal resistance to organizational change. Employees will use the always may reject new changes in an organization. Resistance emerged when Nestle tried to apply digital and flexible work system. To take care of this, the company applied to ADKAR framework involving awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. As a result of this model, Nestle was able to let team members know there are changes required to help them to become aware, encourage employees by highlighting the clear benefit they will gain, help by offering training sessions, give students access to and training in digital resource, and celebrate and recognize when someone complies. Because of the approach, the employees adapt naturally and the main goals were still fulfilled without hurting morale. After the pandemic, it became clear that agility and resilience are essential for multinational groups, and Nestle showed that they were able to manage change successfully. With new leadership, advance in digital technologies, stronger employees, and innovation in its supply chain, Nestle stabilized its work and prepared for future prosperity. Planning, leading with purpose, clear sharing of information, and a supportive workplace help address all obstacles during the implementation phase. Nestle's way of transforming itself can be used as a guide by global companies trying to keep up with fast business changes.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Siti NURAISYAH binti ZAHARI. My number matric is 299567. So, here I want to present about the practical recommendations on how Nestle could have managed the change process more effectively. They implemented a structured change management model. Even though Nestle handled the pandemic well, an orderly change model like Carter's 8-step model would have offered. The first one is clear direction for global units, and the second one is fairness and better structure in implementing change. So, Carter's model stressed making the change important for everyone, forming key teams, and integrating new efforts into corporate culture. This ensured change are clearly planned, well communicated, and reinforced. Without a set system, change effort in a multinational company can become scattered or misunderstood. Okay, the second one in enhanced employee-centric communication. Okay, during change, employees often feel uneasy. Nestle could have minimized this through two-way, honest communication, which is digital feedback tools, interactive Q&A sessions, and regular message from leaders. Okay, so for example, employee newsletter, which is featuring frontline workers' perspective on change, and the second one is consistent messaging, which is across all business units for a shared vision. This approach unifies emotions, shows respect for employees, and builds a common purpose. Okay, so the last one for this part is appoint change champions across departments. Okay, change champions are influential teams members who actively support and lead transformation initiatives. So their roles include influencing by example, demonstrating positive adoption. The second one is resolving challenge, addressing concerns and roadblocks. The third one is facilitating feedback, sharing employee insights with leadership. So the benefits is increased acceptance, messages are more trusted coming from peers. The second one is informal coaching, guiding college through new process, and smoother adoption, easing the introduction of new system or practice. 4.2 Strategies to sustain long-term organizational change and adapt to future uncertainties. Okay, the first one is foster a culture of continuous learning and agility. For long-term sustainability, Nestle needs proactive change. This requires continuous employee learning to develop new skills, exchange knowledge, innovate better ways of working. So, the ways to achieve this, we have to learning portals, mentorship programs, and innovation labs. Okay, so embracing fail fast practice allows teams to explore new ideas without severe consequences, promoting experimentation, staying agile in learning prepares Nestle to successfully navigate unforeseen challenge and ensure ongoing adaptability. Okay, the second one is build psychological safety and inclusive leadership. Creative ideas and innovation thrive where staff feel safe to share their views. Nestle leaders should foster an environment that encourages open exchange of ideas, support for team mental health, active listening to employee input. Empathetic and good listening leadership leads to increased collaboration among employees, stronger employee loyalty, and providing reassurance and clarity during uncertain time keeps teams focused and on track. Okay, the last one is integrate ESG, economic, social, and governance goals into core strategy. Consumers and investors now demand greater corporate responsibility. Nestle must integrate ESG, environmental, social, and governance efforts into all operations, not treat them as separate projects. Key areas for integration is reducing carbon footprint, eliminating child labor in supply chain, and ensuring good water stewardship. To ensure long-term commitment, we have to incorporate ESG metrics into evaluations and executive pay. Okay, the benefits of strong ESG strategies, we can decrease long-term risk and increase trust from consumers and investors.
Next, I will make a conclusion to our presentation. To conclude our presentation, Nestle Malaysia Berhad provide an excellent example of how a large global organization can effectively manage change, especially during times of crisis like the COVID-19 pandemic. The company implemented a mix of developmental, transitional, and transformational changes, ranging from improving employee skills and digital systems to completely reshaping its leadership structure and long-term strategy. Key success factors included strong and adaptive leadership, investment in technology, and a clear focus on employee well-being and flexibility. Nestle did not just react to change, they led it with purpose and planning. One important lesson we learned is that change management is not just about fixing problems, it's also about preparing for the future. Nestle's experience shows us that by being proactive, embracing innovation, and keeping people at the center of the strategy, companies can come out stronger, more competitive, and more sustainable. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you gain valuable insight from our analysis of Nestle change journey. I think that's all from us. Thank you.